Hey!
Hi.
We are Movie Menu Podcast, and we are going to be reviewing Wonder Woman today. So thank you for joining us and for repeat. Good job.
I'm trying to post
Z's
I'm trying to post
messing things up.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead.
Everybody
and
mute your
share.
devices because it will start playing.
It's
Share.
not loading.
Share to page.
Why does it say use app?
What does it? That's weird.
Yeah. So I'm Dan the Man Muñoz. I'm host of Movie Menu Reviews, your weekly movie news and reviews
weird.
podcast. I am joined by special guest Nat the Nerd Girl from
Hi.
the Nerd Exposed. Thank you for
I'm
being
the-
here, Nat.
I'm the obnoxious voice you hear. What?
I'll do it.
Alright, you do it. Anyway.
I'm also joined by senior panelist and co-host Z, who's down over there.
Hey there, guys.
And also here is our sound guy and my co-host, Mike Stay.
Yay!
So you see, we're a little more brightly lit today, so you can see our beautiful faces.
I'm still dark over here. It's okay.
You did that on purpose.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Am I really dark on screen?
You are really dark on screen.
Yeah.
That's okay.
On purpose?
No, it was
Racist? Oh wow, I am really dark.
we can't change that.
You cannot change genetics. Sorry, guys. Unless you want to whiteface me, in which case, is that racist?
It
is not.
It is.
Yeah.
The answer to that is no.
But moving on, we wanted to go ahead and talk about Wonder Woman. So don't worry, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. We're going to get into spoilers for the actual show.
Calm down,
but we are
Max.
going to
We
stop
all
the.
know how much I hate spoiler free.
But it's just for the live feed. We're going to go spoiler-free, and then we're going to stop the live feed, and then we're going to get into the spoilerific review. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the review for Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Okay, directed by Patty Jenkins. Here's the plot. Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, Princess of the Amazons, trained warrior. When the pilot crashes and tells of conflict in the outside world, she leaves home to fight a war to end all wars, discovering her full powers and true destiny. All right, it stars Gal Gadot,
Gal
Gadot, and Chris Pine. All right, guys, I have seen this film, and I think all of us saw it, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So we will all unanimously decide this movie's worth a dine-in, watch it in theaters, take out, we don't watch it at home, or leftovers, toss this film in the trash.
Or will we unanimously agree to it?
Well, we all
Well, we have
agree
to unanimous.
Okay.
You know, even though we don't, if one person doesn't agree, but we're all
We
gonna
have
have
to
to
convince
decide.
each other. Okay.
Yeah. So whoever wins will earn a point, and whoever has the most points by the end of the season will go ahead and decide a segment of their choosing. I had one last season that I won, and it will be revealed. We will do the review after this review, so stay tuned for that segment. Okay, Nat, rate this film.
Dine in.
Z,
Oh, definitely dine in.
Mike,
Dine-in as well.
Yeah.
and me, motherfucking dine-in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm actually.
I think this is like the first time that
Yeah.
we've all agreed.
Well,
on
I am
something.
bold enough to say that this is the best film of the summer.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
This movie
Guardians
was.
2 was good, but it wasn't as good as this. This knocked it out of the park.
This movie is
Yeah.
incredible.
Now, to be fair, this movie's not without faults. There are some issues with it.
Right,
However, because the movie is so good, you're willing to ignore them as soon as the film starts moving. Everything about this film is paced correctly. And boy, oh boy, you don't realize how bad pacing in other films are until you watch a film with great pacing. And this film, start to finish, what is it, 2.5 hours?
I think it's like 2 minutes, 2 hours and 9 minutes. Or
2 hours
something
and
like that.
9 minutes, 21 minutes. You feel none of it.
Oh yeah, no.
You
not
want
at all.
more.
It's very seamless.
Yeah, it feels like it's part of one unit and not segmented into different movies, i.e. Batman vs. Superman or other films of recent times. It feels like one coherent machine, and everything about it just works well.
Also, I want to give a big congrats to Gal Gadot. You know, when she was cast as Wonder Woman, a lot of people were backlash because they were like, this woman from Fast and the Furious is going to play the most iconic comic book movie female of all time.
Yes.
And, she killed it.
You know,
she did
She
a great job.
absolutely did. One of the big things that I liked was it, and I am the Marvel fangirl.
You are.
I'm such a Marvel fangirl.
Didn't people call you a DC hater at one point?
Yeah.
I think that was Dan.
That was
That was
one
not
of
me.
you guys.
That was you.
One of you.
That sounds like a Z thing.
No, I've
total
always
Z
hated
thing.
DC.
No, because I always embrace. I'm like,
You embrace DC, yeah.
Yeah, but something I really, I kind of have this complaint a little bit about Marvel is some of their superheroes feel very forced. It feels a little strained. She is so fucking natural at this.
Yes.
Wait, should I not be cursing?
No,
No,
Okay. Yeah, it's so natural. Like, I watched her and I'm like, yeah, she's an Amazon warrior. Like, there was, she was just, she was great. I love
I also
it.
believe like her honor and her like
Yeah.
moral and like wanting to do good and not like it was believable. I didn't feel like like for once that she ever like her moral standards were up there.
Yeah.
And I respected her for that.
You did not for 1 minute feel like she was in a Zack Snyder universe.
Right? Yeah.
Because she actually had hope.
Which is funny though because when Batman v Superman came out, for me the best part of that movie was Wonder Woman.
Well, and I've seen interviews with Gal Gadot, and she did state that like she knew that the reason why people loved her character was that smirk she gave
Yes.
when she was fighting.
That was that
and
won
you
me
know
over.
what? Kudos to Patty Jenkins, because Patty Jenkins took that millisecond moment of Gal Gadot smiling and turned it into a whole film that worked really well. I think, and just to answer to what you were saying about Gal Gadot's casting, I was not on board with her casting because I am a Fast and Furious fan. I thought I knew her limitations, and I was like, well, she was supporting cast, so I don't feel like she's got what it takes. On top of that, she was way too thin for the role. Within 5 minutes of watching her kick ass on Themis
The mascara.
Guerra,
The mascara.
as soon as, by the way, that's an ongoing joke in the film, and I love it because everyone's like, I can't pronounce that. Within 5 minutes of watching her combat train, I was like, this woman can kick my ass in seconds. I am loving every bit of it.
Well, and this is totally not a spoiler, but there is a line one character says, and he sees her fighting, and he goes, I am completely threatened and completely aroused. Completely threatened and completely aroused.
Let's just talk about that. This movie has a lot of comedic moments in it.
It
It's-
does.
Well, because as I was saying, it has none of the elements that Zack Snyder brings to his films because it has hope, it's got humor. You feel like you're in a different world, and in fact, to some extent, you kind of are in a different world, and it's funny.
Do you think DC should embrace this tone in the movies for the
I
future?
definitely do. I mean, I think one of the... Okay, I'm not going to say one of the problems with Batman v Superman, because
There's a lot.
there's so many.
Yep.
But, like, it was trying way too hard to be way too serious.
Yes.
Yes.
And this one, like, it just flowed so naturally. I mean,
Yeah.
it just... I just loved it. And I was going into it kind of hesitant, and I was a little like, oh, this could be really, really fucking bad. But it just... Oh, it was so good.
So when did it? At one point in the film, did it win you over, Nat?
I agree with Z in seeing her fight with the other Amazons, which there's one particular African American woman.
Oh my god, she was badass.
Holy
Oh my
shit!
God.
Badass.
I was like,
I don't, you know,
she's a fucking Amazon.
I
Like-
love that. I love the fact how diverse the mascara was and had all shapes and
They
sizes
didn't
of women.
They didn't whitewash it at all.
No,
which
no,
was
no.
really
It
nice,
was
but-
like we are not. Yeah, we're protectors of the world, and so it did bring that.
And I love how they made
But-
it seem like they were so intelligent as well. Not only were they fighters, but they were well studied and they knew different languages and different
Yeah.
Parts of the
But
body and stuff.
to talk about like also the humor, let's give it up. Also, I mean, it's funny because it's like watching this film. I was like, praise them all, praise them all because they're all fantastic. Patty Jenkins was amazing as a director. So amazing work. I mean, she's worked on Monster. So
Great film.
She has done a lot of good work, but also they also had Jeff Johns do part of the script for this film, and you can tell because Jeff Johns is I've touted him before as the grandmaster of the DC universe, the comic book universe, because he has done this thing called the Rebirth in the comic book series, where they try to explain away why DC has been so moody and dark lately. And because Jeff Johns is now involved in the DC extended universe, that's where that humor is coming. That's why the shakeup when Zack Snyder was being pushed out and they were bringing Jeff Johns in, he was the reason because Jeff Johns knows how to say, yes, we've been dark. However, There's a reason for it, and let's fix it and move towards a better direction. And I think that because the script has a lot more humor, more diversity, and even at that, just talking about Gal Gadot's performance and Wonder Woman's values in general, it's a film about a woman in a man's world, yes. But it's also about people who are going through adversity and struggling through it. Because a lot of the supporting cast in this film are minorities. And they don't shy away from the struggles they've gone through. And it makes you believe why Wonder Woman, as a character, as a comic book character, stands up for everyone's right. She's not Superman, who's overpowered and entirely like a schoolboy. No, she's a woman who stands up for everyone's rights. And in seeing her struggle through going into World War I, you see her accept relationships and accept others, like the Native American in this film,
Chief.
The chief.
I loved him. I wish.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of him. But
I wanted to see more of all of them.
Yeah, and I think you're totally right. I mean, they do address the struggles of diversity, which, again, I've been struggling not to be political today.
You have to with
I don't. Yeah, but like, I am a white woman, so
You are?
Right? Can't you tell? But,
I thought it was just a lighting.
Right? Yeah, no, so I always feel kind of awkward, like, talking about struggles with diversity, but, one of the characters is struggling with what is PTSD, but in World War I
love that, yeah.
I loved it, and there was another supporting character who goes by Sam, and he was like, I'm an actor. I love acting, but I'm the wrong color.
I'm the wrong color.
And it's like, and then he says after that, he's like, everyone is dealing with their personal battles. And that was something that I was so glad they acknowledged that with supporting characters, because it made the supporting characters have depth.
Yes.
Which you don't usually see. And
you were worried for them because you cared about them.
It's probably one of the few movies I've seen where I am just as emotionally invested in the supporting cast as I was with Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. And again, like, their relationship, which I'm sure we'll get into as well,
yes.
They
handled that perfectly well, too.
They handled it perfectly.
Yeah. Great chemistry.
Really did.
Like, really great chemistry.
But also, just to add again, because this movie's full of praise, Patty Jenkins, because they also not just got a female lead for this film, a woman lead for this film, but they also got a woman director. And I thought the way that the film was shot was, one, and if you watch any of the Zack Snyder movies, you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't sexualized camera work. There's a huge thing in the film industry called the male gaze, and this film had very little of that. It did not, even at that, like, I know there's also like an inversion of that where like they focus too much on like bodies, and I think Baywatch last week was an example of that, where like the meandering camera focuses too much on body.
Well, that's the whole point of it. I didn't see it.
I agree. However,
I mean, there was one scene with Chris Pine, but that's,
No, that was a hilarious scene.
You know what?
That was hilarious scene.
I had no problem with that scene. I'm like, oh my god, he's like holding his junk and he's butt naked.
But you see, in a flawed director, in a director who just doesn't know how to direct, the camera would focus on his hands, on his genitals. It doesn't do it because this film has a very smart director who knows how to handle that camera.
Yeah, they used it for the joke purposes, not so much for. It was more for the joke.
He wasn't.
It wasn't for sexual.
He wasn't overly
sexual innuendos. Yeah, it was more for the joke.
And the action was handled the same way, where it wasn't handled. It wasn't handled in the way that you expect Zack Snyder. Fast cuts, or all the other really crappy directors. It was more of like well-paced, controlled action. You got to see people's faces when they were thinking things through in the battle, and you enjoyed all of it. Also, it reminded me a lot of Kate Bigelow, who directed
Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, all of that.
Also, I really liked the action. Another thing, this movie I really enjoyed the action, the comedy, and the emotional parts.
Everything, yes.
But the action was done so well. I liked how it was. There was complaint about slow motion and how that could be lazy, but
no, it was good.
We got to see every single stunt that was made. And we got to see in depth with, it was a woman doing the stunt. And how incredible that was. And how incredible it looked. And how badass Gal Gadot looked as Wonder Woman fighting.
That was something that I really kind of appreciated too. You were saying, like, the male gaze. Yes. And it's like, she's not, like, and again, a problem that I have with Marvel. is Black Widow is handled so horribly.
Yes. Yep.
But and I'm really excited to finally see a female-driven movie, and there's kind of been this battle with like, okay, well, but Captain Marvel's coming out, which will be really interesting
to see what
to
they
compare
do.
these. Yeah. But I was so nervous the first couple times they were doing slow motion. I was like, fuck.
But it looked amazing.
And even though there was a lot of it, it didn't bug me, and it was like perfect. And if you think about, because just how she moves and fights and everything, if you had played that at full speed, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what is even happening
you want to be
right
able to see it.
now?
But what I think
it supported the action sequence.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part of it.
It had multiple reasons for it. One, it handled the action correctly, but also it handled her character as somebody who's trying to figure out how powerful she in fact is.
Okay, we got a couple of comments in the Facebook Live. Let me just read them real quick. Letty, Kaela,
Hey, Letty.
Hey. She pointed out that Gal Gadot is Regina. She did brought down, and Chris Pine is 100%. And I agree with the Batman v Superman. I'm not happy with the turn that film took. Like, DC needs to be more chill-like.
Yes, I agree.
And then Rigo apparently thinks I look like I'm going to senior prom.
No. He's going to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
It's Senior Prom.
Oh, yeah, Senior
hi, Aaron. Hi.
Hi, Aaron.
And Aaron says, go, Nat.
Heart.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue on.
Yes, so talking also about the speed of again, pacing is critical in all films. And I'll bring up this one here. Doctor Strange.
Why are you touching my poster?
Thank you for bringing a prop. There you go. Talking about Doctor Strange, and my biggest complaint about Doctor Strange was pacing, because it didn't give you a moment to feel. It didn't give you a moment to breathe. And with this movie, I think it had a huge problem. It had a huge problem in its hands that it wouldn't be able to hold its pacing correctly. However, this film does something that I don't think we've seen in a lot of action superhero films. Unless you're considering The Dark Knight, where there's one scene where Bruce Wayne is holding his mask and he's talking about losing Rachel. This film has a lot of those moments, and they're handled right after, even during the action scene. And I think that's what makes this film way better and way superior than Doctor Strange as an origin story, or any of the other films, even Captain America as an origin story. Because what it does is that it takes moments to reflect and have Wonder Woman Diana Prince, but she's not called Wonder Woman in this film, talking to people who are dealing with the struggle. And there's an emotional connection, and it's conveyed through Gal Gadot's amazing acting abilities. Again, I was shocked, and happy at the same time to know that she had the ability to do that, because she looks discouraged, and she has that look of like, how is the world so backwards? However, she is from a different world where they still use bow and arrows. Mm-hmm. And because there's that moment of reflection, every single time that cuts away, you have that experience of somebody who's also out of time, as the audience feeling out of time, looking back and going, wait, we're still backwards.
No, I agree. And that was one of the heartbreaking moments in this movie. She handles it with so care and so richness of her emotional, like, you feel it. You feel it very, very hard.
You really do. And I think that was one thing that, Mike, you said earlier, what really grabbed me. Mm-hmm. I mean, from the beginning, I was like, it's going to be a good movie. Like, okay. But then when she would see something bad happen to innocent people, she would fight tooth and nail to go help them. It wasn't like, we have to help them. And then Chris Pine's like, no, we don't have time. And she's like, okay, like, she is physically like,
she stood up. She stood up for her
scrappy,
morals.
and she's like, no, I'm going to save these people. I'm going to help them. Like, and she was like, badass, independent woman.
Another thing I like though, with Patty Jenkins and the story, it was believable in the sense that there was a moment, and it was a small little moment, and I was like hoping that this would happen when she's jumping to the tower. I'm like, that's not spoiler.
It's in the trailer. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
So she jumps and she grabs onto a rock, and knowing how strong she is, I'm like, oh, I hope the thing breaks because she's so strong. And what happens? It breaks, and then she discovers her thing. So it was like they tackled the realness as well.
Of discovering how strong you
and
actually
how strong she is.
Now,
it wasn't like all of a sudden. No, she discovered her powers, which I really enjoyed that origin of her.
Yeah, but also just to add, like as far as the moment that the movie grasped me, it was very early on. Now, again, I was like, well, this part's working really well for me, but let's see how Gal Gadot does. But it's the moment in which you see the little girl. So you see a very young Diana. And you see her.
She was scrappy.
She's scrappy.
She was scrappy.
But what I enjoyed about her portrayal of a young Diana is, and I'm sure you can speak to this, a girl being told she cannot do something. You cannot be a warrior. You cannot do what we do because you're not capable of doing that. And then her subversively showing repeatedly how she can do it. And then as an adult, again, Gal Gadot handles this perfectly, recognizing that the odds are against her, but pursuing past what people expect from her. And I thought that representation there was just amazing. It was just, and again, it was a young actress they got for young Diana, follow through with Gal Gadot's performance. You were just kind of like, yeah, I wonder, and as a man, I wonder if that's what girls and women have to deal with, constantly being told you cannot do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, exactly.
I mean, and just on a personal level, like career-wise, I work in tech. Like, I'm a kind of a techie person, and so much of the time, I mean, it's a boys club, and it's like, oh, you can't be a good tech, like, because you're a chick. But, yeah, no, I mean, it's something encountered all the time. But I did want to comment on the little girl who plays young Diana. I mean, she was just so good. I just,
really
I'm like, I want to see her in more stuff, because she was just so expressive and passionate about it, and, you know, you really see that, you know, transition as to, it was, to be more concise, okay, it was really nice to see a consistency between the acting and a younger version, as well as, you know, the adult version of her. Because so much of the time you're like, I don't see the transition. I don't really see how you got here, but I adored her. I was like, she's such a little scrappy thing. I thought she was so cute. I'm like, I love you.
Yeah. Okay, let's go into now the relationships with characters. What did you guys think of? We talked briefly about it, but what did you guys think about Chris Pine's character?
So Steve Trevor.
Yeah. Steve Trevor.
Without going into spoilers.
Firstly, the way they introduced him, I think, was fluid and fantastic. It didn't feel like somebody who was trying to throw a wrench and be like, this is the way we explain the story. It didn't feel that way at all. In fact, my fear was that they would, I think we talked about this during like the trailer reviews, that they would go back to Themyscira and have the struggle there. But it wasn't that. I'm grateful for that, because it was just very fluid, the way they introduce him, the way that they don't trust him. And I think another, again, gender politics thing is that they always refer to him as the man. Are you a representation of men? Are you? He's like, his response was, "I'm above average."
Yeah. She's that was like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
So she sees him nudie and
with no clothes.
Well, that's what nudie means. Naked.
Butt naked. Butt naked.
Butt naked. Oh. But anyway, we're not going to talk about seeing Chris Pine naked on a big screen. That's not what we're here for.
Except if that's what you're there for.
Except,
you get it.
No, but you know, I found. Oh wait, going back about the.
Above average?
The whole above average thing. Sorry, can you tell I got just distracted in my head? I was thinking of Chris Pine, and I'm like, no words. You know, I really liked how...
Drink some water, you're thirsty.
Well, and also it doesn't help for those watching and obviously listening. It's...
hot.
It's like 100 degrees in here.
Yes, with the lighting.
With lighting and... Oh my god, yeah, I'm like sweating. But... You know,
glowing.
Yeah, glowing. Yeah. You know, she's like, so are you, you know, average man? And he's like, well, not really average. I'm kind of above average. And it's like, he was just trying so hard to delicately say, like, he's fucking hot. Like,
yeah.
Especially for back then, and I don't know. Naked Chris Pine in the end.
Did you lose yourself in thought there?
I kind of did, a
Okay,
little bit.
all right.
Maybe we should move on from Chris Pine
No,
then?
anyway, their relationship, though, it felt so authentic because so much of the time, when you throw in, like, complicated sexual tension romance, it's...
Thorne and
Jane.
yeah.
I know, yes. That's... So talk about force. Natalie
it was
Portman's
really
like,
forced.
fuck this,
Chris
I'm not
Hemsworth.
doing these anymore. Yeah, it felt really real and realistic and natural because it's like they're kind of like, I'm not sure what to do with you or whatever, and he's like, no, don't hold my hand, you don't understand, and then it's like, no, wait, come here, like, you know, I mean, they kind of struggle with each other, but then it's like,
but it doesn't feel like it's forcing you into the
doesn't feel
rom-com
forced,
situation.
yeah.
Especially since you see them go through so much together,
Yeah.
that over the time it's believable that they would have feelings for each other.
Yeah. Well, especially through war. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's. I just thought it was handled.
I think
really
the best scene was, and I hope this is not a spoiler, but there's a scene where they're deciding whether or not to split off, and the guys, the other crew, look over and be like, oh, we don't want you to go by yourself because we're not sure if you can survive. And Chris Pine's character's like, no, I'll be fine. And we're like, we're not talking about you. We know Diana's gonna. No, we're not talking about Diana. We're talking about you. Because we know she can handle yourself. We don't know about you.
Yeah.
We think you're gonna die.
Well, and also there's a scene towards the end of the movie. Again, no spoilers, but you know they were running out of time to save the universe, and which is not a spoiler because it's a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
tread lightly.
Yeah.
Tread very lightly.
I'm treading very lightly. Okay, there is a line in the movie where he says, like, I'm sorry, I have to go. Like, she was trying to convince him to stay.
Right.
And I really liked that it wasn't like, I'm sorry, I have to leave. Let me kiss you before I go. And he's like, dude, I have to let go of your hands. Peace out. I have to leave.
Do what you have to.
Like,
I
do
need
what
to
you
go
gotta
what
do. But I have to go do this. And I think that was part of what made their relationship so much more believable. Is he was like, I can't help you. You don't want to help me. I gotta go do my thing.
Yeah.
So.
And trudging into the third act, I think that's where we really get into the problem with the film. Again, we can't talk about it, but I mean, in all superhero films, you know what's going to happen, and I think that they handled that part correctly. So
I didn't have a problem with the third act so much.
You didn't, but I mean, listen. Whenever you have like a superhero, you need to use a lot of CGI.
I didn't mind CGI.
You didn't mind the CGI.
No. I saw it in IMAX 3D, so it actually looked really good.
Oh, I'm sure it did. But with us, you know, us poor people, we did not watch it in 3D, and you can tell you can tell the cracks. But no, it was still good. Again, because the spectacle wasn't as important as the relationships, and so that's again why it was handled better. But it still had that fault of like, yeah, listen, you could have people banging things against each other, not sexually though. Yeah.
On that note, let's go ahead and move on to our spoiler review. So we're going to say goodbye to the Facebook Live feed.
Bye.
Thank you for everyone who watched. Nat, would you like to plug anything to our Facebook Live viewers before we go?
Plug. Yeah, again, Nerd Exposed, in need of some love. So if there's anyone out there who would like to write about nerdy stuff and I will pay you in hugs, then we're good. No, yeah, Nerd Exposed, it's gonna go somewhere.
Can you spell it?
Oh, the website?
Yeah.
Oh. TheNerdExposed. The Nerd Exposed.
Yeah, you spelled it right.
Wait for it. .com.
.com, god damn it.
.com.
.com.
Hey!
Hey!
You get a cookie.
Good job. Thank you, Z, for being on the Facebook Live. Thank you, Mike, for being Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And,
Also, it's really weird because I'm watching the live feed on the computer, and there's this weird delay.
Yeah.
So I'll like do things, and then I'll look over, and then
Okay,
wait.
you can't
Your
look.
hands now?
Yeah.
You can't look.
You can't look.
Why?
You're banished. You're banished from the
It's
screen.
really distracting. Anyway.
All right,
Bye.
I'm Dan the Man, and we say download our full review coming out this week. Thank you guys, and goodbye.
Yes.
Hold on, because you guys are still live.
We're still live, so
Okay.
don't say any
Still live.
like magical
Still live.
dildo jokes. Did I just say magical dildo?